Good afternoon, everybody. It's Coach Marty P. Hill with the Backroom Business of Boxing podcast. Hope you guys are doing well today. Today's our episode number 2, and we're going to get deeper right into it today, talking about how to bring you guys and girls from the amateur side of boxing into the pro side and try to fill you in on some of the details of what goes on, what we call the backroom of boxing, which most people aren't aware of as far as the business of pro boxing, how to transition from the amateur side to the pro side. So you guys and girls at home are becoming a little bit more educated and well-versed in the business of boxing. That's what this podcast is for. So our last week's episode, we talked about how to find the right team, find the right people around you. We talked about the pillars of the proper team for boxing: your family, your significant others, your coach, your management, promotion team, finding those right individuals and putting the right team in place before you even get started so you have that support system. Once you get the support system in place, obviously the next step is to how do you become a professional fighter, or how do you become a pro? And what I mean by that is, how do you become a registered athlete with your local commission? It amazes me in today's times that you still have a lot of athletes who have no idea how to really even become a registered professional. They call promoters like myself and they say, hey, I want to turn pro. Well, that's not my job. I'm the promoter. My job is to put you on a card, to put you on a show once you've already got all your intangible things taking place. It's not my job to educate you, tell you, and show you how to do that when you call me asking to get on a card. All that stuff should already be done, and that makes it easier for me to want to put you on a card to get your official career started. So number one, first thing you got to do is, no matter what state you're in or which locale that you are, every state has a local entertainment and athletic commission. I repeat, an entertainment and an athletic commission. I'm based here in Georgia. We have the Georgia Entertainment and Athletic Commission, which is the GEAC or the GAEC. But that's our local commission that commissions professional boxing, professional MMA, kickboxing. All of your combat sports is regulated by your state government. You understand that? Regulated by your state government. So you have to first and foremost apply for a professional boxing license in your state. That's going to be 2 licenses. You're going to apply for a federal license, which allows you to box in your state. Okay, so whatever individual state that you're in, you'll apply for a federal license. Then whatever states that you compete in, you'll apply for a state license. Usually that's done at the day of a show. When you go in to compete, you pay $25 for a license to compete in that state. All right, let's start with that again. First off, where you're located and where you reside, you will file a federal license with your local commission. You will fill in the application. You will provide them a copy of your federal identification. You will do your blood work with them. You will do a physical for them. You will do an eye exam for them. All of these applications are going to be in that athletic commission's website. I think it's between $25 or $50 for you to apply. I'm not sure the exact price. It's going to vary from state to state. But also, most importantly, like here in Georgia, you must show proof of at least 5 amateur fights or competitions for the board to approve you to become a licensed professional. I repeat, here in Georgia, you have to have at least 5 amateur boxing matches before you can become a professional, okay? And you have to have a winning record with that. Every commission is a little bit different. So for you all at home who think you're going to get into pro boxing off of never fought before or have never done any amateur experience, hey, I can't speak for other states, but I can speak for the state of Georgia. That's going to be tough, a very, very, very tough road to hoe to make that happen. So number one, get your amateur experience, at least 5 to 10 boxing fights if you want to turn professionally. That will make the process a lot easier. Identify your local commission. Find out what requirements they have as far as their blood work, the physical, as well as the eye exam. For example, here in Georgia, your blood work's got to be HIV, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and that blood work is only valid for 180 days. So every 6 months, you got to get new blood work. As far as the physical, you must get a physical submitted by an MD, very similar to the physical that you do for amateur boxing. An eye exam must be administered by an optometrist or ophthalmologist. Sometimes EKG may be required, not always mandatory, depends upon the boxer. Same thing with radiology. Sometimes it may be required, depends upon the fight, the commission, where the location is. I can tell you this, commissions in California, New York, New Jersey can be a lot more stringent when it comes to EKGs and CAT scans and things of that nature. So be mindful of that. Also, when you're looking to fight in certain states, certain commissions might require a little bit more than others. Female fighters must submit a pregnancy test at the weigh-ins, very similar to amateur boxing requirements in relation to that. Now, here's a big deal, especially here in Georgia. If you are over 37 years old, here in Georgia, you're required to also have to get what we call advanced medicals. That includes a neurological exam by a neurologist, as well as a ophthalmology exam, by an ophthalmologist. The difference between an ophthalmologist and an optometry exam is that the ophthalmologist is going to look behind your eye. They're going to look deeper into your retina, make sure there's no scarring, no torn retinas, make sure there's no damage there. They're going to look in and behind the eye. So that's why that eye exam is different than the initial eye exam that you can go to Walmart and get by an optometrist for just a regular boxing match if you're 37 and under. Okay? So all those are things that you need to be aware of. First, go to your local commission, identify what the requirements are. Second, get the application. Complete it, fill it out. You can send that back in, all the while you're getting your medicals. It's preferably best to get all that stuff done at one time and take it or send it to your local commission so they have everything. It's also amazing, sometimes you'll get athletes who do not have a federal identification. If you do not have a federal ID, you will not be able to box in that state. So you need to make sure you have a driver's license, identification card. I know things happen, but you need to make sure you have an ID, because if you don't have an ID, that's going to stop you right there from getting a federal license with your state and a state license. All right. So we went over a couple of things today really quick. Again, number one, identify the commission and your state. Number two, find out what the requirements are as far as how many bouts you need to have as an amateur. Number three, find out the medical, the eye, and all those requirements. Get those done, complete it, put on those forms, get your eyes done, the medical's done, blood work, physical, compile all that stuff back in. Last but not least, if you are not in BoxRec, that is the link that all the commissions utilize to store your boxing record, your information, your manager, your promoter, how to get in contact with you. All that stuff is in BoxRec. That's BoxRec.com. BoxRec right now is the dictionary and the encyclopedia for all things boxing. Your rankings here in the U.S., all the way through nationally. That's where it's at in BoxRec. All of your wins, your losses, and your draws will be posted in BoxRec. Essentially, if you're not in BoxRec, you do not exist. That information only happens when you're approved by your state, when your initial medicals are been sent in, and then they will add you to BoxRec when you have a federal license. All right? That makes it easy for someone like myself as a promoter to go in and see your record, see when's the last time you fought. I can have an idea of if your medicals are current, and then that will make me motivated and want to put you on the show. So please, if you're not in BoxRec and you've got promoters asking you about your BoxRec link and you're like, oh, I don't have one, or if you're doing MMA and you're doing Tapology, whatever it may be, if you want to box, you got to get a BoxRec link. If you don't take anything else from this conversation today on this podcast or this video, make sure you get your stuff done so you can get in BoxRec so you can truly become an active fighter. All right. So those are our key components today, gang. How to move to the next step. We'll continue this process, sharing information with you. Hope this helps. Please share comments and ask questions as we're building this platform to truly help the progression of amateur fighters move into the pro ranks and understand the backroom business of the sport of boxing. This is Coach Marty P. Hill in Atlanta, Georgia with Sweet Science Fits Boxing Club. Stay tuned and continue to watch our page.